Welcome and thank you so much for joining me today. So we are going to be looking at sketching with transformation. So we are first going to be looking at a circle and then we're going to looking at a hyperbola. So to get started, first thing I want us to think about is a circle. What do we use? What formula? Well, we normally use Pythagoras theorem because Pythagoras theorem helps us work out the radius. So I'm going to go x squared plus y squared equals r squared. At the moment, this circle here is going to be at point 0, or the origin is 0, 0. So let's work this out first. Let's look at the radius. Well, we know the radius needs to be squared. So what is a number that's squared equals to 9? 3. So straight away, I know that my radius of my circle is 3. The next thing I look at is these two here. So I'm going to draw a picture. Well, the first thing I think about when I'm looking at this diagram is I think about, well, at the moment when x is 0, it's just x takes 0. So this equals 0. But here, x take 2. If I'm thinking about x take 2, what does x need to be for this to equal 0? 2. 2 take away 2 is 0. So that just means that x is the origin, the centre of the circle, has moved 2 spots over to the right, to 2. Then I look over here, y plus 3. Again, here y can just be is 0. So it's at the origin. But here it's plus 3. So what does y need to be for this bracket in here to equal 0? Well, the opposite of 3 is negative 3. So negative 3 plus 3 equals 0. So that just means y must be negative 3. So the origin of our circle is here. Now I know the radius is 3. So then I can go, okay, if the radius is 3, then that is, I'll do that a bit lower. That is 1, 2, 3. So the edge of the circle is here. I can go over 1, 2, 3. I'll go over this way. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then down. 1, 2, and 3. Right down here. So I've got my points around using the radius. And I can now simply join them together to form my circle. So that's what I want you to think about when we're sketching a circle. Now let's look at sketching with transformation of a parabola. So first thing I'm thinking about, sorry, not a parabola, hyperbola. So first thing I want us to think about is the denominator. Well, with our denominator, we know that we can't have 0. So what does x need to be for the bottom to equal 0? Well, if it's x plus 1, it needs to be minus 1. Minus 1 plus 1 equals 0. So x can't be minus 1. So that just shows me that on here, I know when we get to minus 1, sorry, I did it wrong on the wrong bracket, minus 1, I know that x can't equal this, anything on this line. There we go. The next thing I look at is over here, y, it says plus 2. And that just means when, if this equals 0, when y is plus 2, it can't equal plus 2. So I will then go, okay, 1, 2. So those two are my asymptotes. Now that I've done my asymptotes, I've got the fun part of doing my graph. So I'm just going to finish labeling my graph. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And negative -2, -3, -4, -5, -2, -3, and then I'm just going to put in the points. I'm going to change colours. So then let's look at, okay, if x is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 divided by 1 is 1, 3, awesome. Then go, okay, how about x, let's make it, x is -1/2. -1/2 plus 1 equals 0.5. 1 divided by 0.5, well, there's 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. Go up, and it'll be 4. Okay, then let's keep on going. So I can go the other way, and it's going to be, okay, 2. Actually, make it 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. 1 divided by 4 equals 1/4. Plus 2, 2 1/4. So it's going to be getting smaller. So straight away I can see that I've got hyperbola going this way. Then I go to my negative x's. So say, how about -2? -2 plus 1 is -1. 1 divided by -1 is -1. Plus 2 equals 1. Let's do a half, -1/2. -1/2 plus 1. -1/2 plus 1, it becomes a +1/2. So that, oh, sorry, -1/2, I mean. So -1/2 plus 1 is -1/2. Then I've got 1 divided by -1/2. 1 divided by 1/2 is 2, so it'll be -2. -2 plus 4. So -2 plus 2 equals 0. So it'll be right here. Then I go across to, say, -4. -4 plus 1 equals -3. 1 divided by -3 is -1/3. Plus 2. If I've got -1/3 and I'm adding 2 to it, that will give me 1 2/3. So 1 2/3. So I'm getting a bit closer. So I can see my shape already emerging. And there you go. So it's really about understanding the denominator, can't equal 0, and that will give us our asymptote for x. And then what's left over? When this is 0, we've got this left over, and that's our asymptote for y. Really hope that makes sense. If you need any extra help with these equations, feel free to message me and I'll get back to you.